The Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF, known as ticker symbol SCHD, just recently announced a few minutes ago their December dividend payout, which is the largest fourth quarter payout or December dividend payout that this ETF has ever paid since inception. Now, this not only means that this ETF continues its track record on being one of the best dividend growth style ETFs across the entire market, but also on top of that, investors and holders like myself and like probably a lot of you guys are going to see a nice bump in dividend income from this most recent raise. Now in this video, we're going to go over what the most recent dividend increase is. Like I said, it's the largest fourth quarter December dividend payout that this ETF has ever paid. Then we're going to look at SCHD's dividend payout history, and we're going to see exactly what this means for the ETF moving forward. Now also stick around until the end because I'm going to share with you guys how many shares of SCHD I'm currently holding across all my portfolios, and I have thousands of them, and tell you how much in dividend income I'm expecting coming soon. So if you hold SCHD, make sure to stick around until the end, drop a like down below, and let's get right into it. If you are a dividend investor who wants to level up your portfolio, you need to be tracking your dividend income consistently. And that's why I created the perfect dividend tracker that I've used to scale my dividend income up to all-time highs over the last year. Now, along with this dividend tracker, you're also going to receive my A to Z dividend investing ebook, which shows you how I personally started from $0 several years ago to now where I earn over $7,500 per month in dividends. So if you want this tracker and the ebook, go to the first link down below in my description and grab it today. Now, like I said just a few minutes ago, SCHD did just announce their December dividend payout, which is coming in at 26.45 cents, so almost 26.5 cents. Now, if you look at SCHD's payout history as far as the December dividend payouts, or Q4, let's say, the last year's payout was 0.2474 cents. So if you take even last December's dividend payout, which was also pretty big, relatively speaking, this most recent dividend payout is not only up from there, but up substantially. Now, December of 2022, this is 2 years ago, we're talking 23.44 cents. And then a year before that, we're talking just over 20.5 cents. So just since December 10th of 2020, when SCHD's December payout was around 20 cents per share for that quarter. Just over the last several years, now investors like myself are getting paid over 6 cents more for every single share of SCHD that they own. And the beautiful thing about this is the ETF has also grown substantially during this time frame. Now, I've shared this with you guys on previous videos, but I did want to share it once again. I know it's sort of hard to see here, but just to get the basic idea, this is the percentage change from previous year, and these are different SCHD payouts over the past several years. Now, the important part that I want you guys to notice is that basically every single quarter and or every single year, SCHD's percentage change from previous year is not only in the green, but sometimes well into the 2 digits. Some years it's been 30% increase. Some years it's been 8% increase. Some years it's been 21% increase. But historically speaking, this ETF just has continued to pay investors more and more in dividend income over the years. Now, this is one of my favorite parts about this ETF is the fact that, at least historically speaking, you can't know for sure if it's going to continue to do this in the future, but at least based off of historical payouts, this ETF has continued to pay investors more and more year after year, not only keeping up with inflation, whether the inflation rate is say 2% or 4%, but over the max time frame, this ETF has been increasing their dividends consistently around 10% year after year. Now, some years are going to be lower, some years are going to be higher, but just now, as of the last few years, SCHD has been on a tear as far as dividend growth goes, which makes me very, very happy that this is my largest dividend growth ETF position across the entire market. Now, this brings me into the next important aspect that I wanted to share with you guys. This is the real important part, especially for us long-term investors that are going to be utilizing this ETF as a long-term investment and maybe even possibly utilize it to pay for things like our bills, expenses later on in the future. Now, I have 2 different calculators right here, as you can see. This one here on the left showcases 2,284 shares times 0.24743. Now, the 2,284 shares represents the amount of SCHD shares I currently hold across all my portfolios combined. I counted them as of this morning. Now, the difference between the 2 lower numbers is the fact that this is what the most recent SCHD payout is as of today. We're seeing the 0.2645 number, and then this is last year's December payout at 0.24743. Now, maybe some investors are looking at the dividend increase for SCHD and saying, well, why is anyone even that excited over a almost 2-cent raise from SCHD? But the reality is that over the years, as you stack up more and more shares of SCHD, even if the ETF raises their dividend by 1 penny, 2 pennies, or 3 pennies, it's going to be a substantial increase across the portfolio if you do stack up hundreds, if not thousands of shares. Now, to illustrate this even better, this is the difference between my personal dividend income, what I'm expecting from this most recent payout amount of 0.2645 cents. For my 2,284 shares, I'm looking at $604 $1.11. Now, going off the previous December payout, which again is not even that long ago, just 12 months ago, we're looking at a $565.13 dividend payout, which is what I would have received if I held on to the same amount of shares just year over year. Now, this means that for doing absolutely nothing year over year, I'm getting a raise of almost $40 as far as forward dividend income from SCHD, which is substantial once again because if I'm looking to use this position as a long-term position, which I am, the quarters and the single years start to turn into decades, and you can only imagine how much this dividend growth can impact my future SCHD position later on. Now, the last thing I want to talk about before I go is one more important aspect about holding on to an asset like SCHD that at least historically has now been paying me more and more in dividend income over the years. Now, what I wanted to touch on is yield on cost. I'll probably make an entire video on yield on cost because it is sort of confusing to some investors, but this is where the real magic happens. If you buy into an asset, let's say like SCHD, at a certain price historically, let's say at a cheaper price, for example, then right away you lock in a decent yield on cost. But then on top of that, if the ETF continues to raise their dividends over the years, your yield on cost is going to get bigger and bigger, which is going to help your portfolio compound even faster. So if you bought into SCHD 1 year ago, let's say, you basically bought into your shares at a set dividend yield, but now because of this intrinsic dividend increase, your yield on cost has went up. So now that we went over SCHD's most recent dividend increase, how excited I am personally that this ETF has once again raised their dividends, keeping the streak alive, and the dividend growth king still having its crown. I lastly want to hear from you guys down below. What's your honest thoughts about the most recent SCHD dividend increase? Are you impressed with it? Are you bummed out about it? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to please drop a like on it and subscribe for more future content like this. Thanks as always for stopping by, and if you are interested in investing, make sure to check out these recent videos I posted right here.